A whole industry has grown up, dedicated to helping the fragile modern self hold together.
You know, I work in 80 countries, and I've had 35 million people get my tapes, and I've had about 3 million people come through these seminars.
Where once we turned to priests for reassurance, today it is to people like Anthony Robbins.
Most of the people here, they want more of something, and many times they don't know what it is.
Good evening, Great Britain! How y'all doing out there?
And most people, their idea of their self is their biography, and they repeat it over and over and over again. And I think that most people are caught up in that story, and most people's story is what's keeping them from experiencing their true self. So breaking through that story, and no one lives outside it completely, because it's a part of our culture. Human beings are storytellers. I'm a storyteller. What you want to do is get better at telling empowering stories to yourself about yourself instead of disempowering ones about what you cannot do.
But is a more empowering story really the answer to what lies at the core of our being? Our culture is still wedded to the idea that what matters is the utilitarian, rational, scientific. But there's another view, that the rational can limit understanding too.
In certain cultures, the narrative spinning element spirals out of control because of the way those cultures present all the rest to themselves. In a culture where that notion of a core sense of being is not taken very seriously because maybe it's perceived to be unscientific or whatever, then all you're left with in some way is all of that storytelling. And that may then spin out of control. You just think, hey, the only way to really be me is to have a really interesting story to tell. I mean, brains like ours are just built to take seriously the stories they tell about themselves, and they're built to merge with the cultural settings in which they find themselves. So yeah, we should be careful what we put out there, because it's all coming back in.
We're living in a world of such massive change, and one of the most important of the 6 human needs I believe people have is a need for certainty. So that need for reassurance comes because there's so much uncertainty in the world. My view is have them find that certainty within themselves that they can access. Otherwise, they're dependent upon me or some other guru, and I'm not a guru.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
So this is where the modern self has ended. We freed ourselves from the confines of medieval religion and declared that with the self, there was no need for a soul. Yet here we are, strangely adrift. Incomplete. Perhaps science itself is the storyteller, trying to make what sense it can of our lives. And now what it finds is that we are not convinced. As we each get older, the concerns of the self diminish. We hear that quieter part of us we left in childhood. And we ask, not who am I, but what am I?